I just wanted to tie up the khutbah that I was giving last week about punishment of rape, and I wanted to read to you the extracts. And the first one is from Fiqh al-Sunnah, and about Hiraba, which was forcibly taking something. It says, and I'm giving the exact quotation now, a single person or a group of people causing public disruption, killing, forcibly taking property or money, attacking or raping women, killing cattle, or disrupting agriculture. All of this is included according to this book on, it's called VirtualMosque, comes under that Hiraba. I also wanted to read to you exactly what Ibn Arabi said. If you remember, I mentioned this incident that a caravan was attacked, and a woman who was traveling with the caravan, she was raped, and the defense was that no money was taken from her. And it says here, in reply to this defense, Ibn Arabi replied indignantly that Hiraba, where the private parts is much, Hiraba with the private parts is much worse than Hiraba involving the taking of money, and that anyone would rather be subjected to the latter rather than the former. And the quotation was from the Muslim jurist Ibn Hazm, is this, which I mentioned last time. This is the exact quotation. One who puts people in fear on the road, whether or not with a weapon, at night or day, in urban areas or in open spaces, in the palace of a caliph or a mosque, with or without accomplices, in the desert or in the village, in a large or small city, with one or more people, making people fear that they will be killed or have money taken or be raped, whether the attackers are one or many. So this is a famous jurist of the days gone by who's given this definition of Hiraba. But I want to, apart from reading these quotations, what I want to do is, I want to wrap up, because in addition to criminal sanctions, there are civil sanctions, and they come from what's known as, well, in Pakistan it's called diya, and that is that you are compensated for some harm that is done to you. And I will read this extract from you. Islamic legal responses to rape are not limited to a criminal prosecution for Hiraba. Islamic jurisprudence also creates an avenue for civil redress for a rape survivor in its law of jira, wounding. Islamic law designates ownership rights to each part of a person's body and a right to corresponding compensation for any harm done unlawfully to any of these parts. Islamic criminal law calls this law the law of Sharia. Harm to a sexual organ therefore entitles the person harmed to appropriate financial compensation under classical Islamic jurisprudence. Thus, each school of Islamic law has held that where a woman is harmed through sexual intercourse, and in this some jurists include marital intercourse, she is entitled to financial compensation for harm. Further, where this intercourse was without the consent of the woman, the perpetrator must pay the woman both the basic compensation for the harm he has done, as well as an additional amount based on diya, which is financial compensation for murder or death payment. So you can see, I'll carry on, since rape could occur even without a clear threat of physical force, that is to say, perhaps not constituting hiraba, but nevertheless constituting sex without consent, the categorization of rape under the law of jira also makes logical sense. And then this goes on. You can see that Islamic law at that time was much more advanced than the Roman law or any other law that existed. Now, if you go to a court in the United Kingdom, you will find that if you lose an arm or a hand, the court says this is how much compensation you will get for losing that arm or a hand or an eye or any part of the body. But this was instituted by Islam many hundreds of years ago. And it's interesting that classical Islamic scholars, some of them, not all of them, some of them recognize that there may be marital rape and the wife may need to actually be compensated for being forced in this way. It is sad, that's all we can say. It is sad that we have somehow lost and forgotten our enlightened classical tradition that we had, and we have now gone back really to the laws that prevailed in Islam before, laws which prevailed in those areas to which Islam came. Some of these people that I read out were Spanish, and they gave their rulings in the light of what was happening in the Christian community, in the Jewish community, and in the Muslim community living in Spain to protect them and their honor. So this wraps up the topic that I started 3 weeks ago. And I just thought it was interesting to have that little bit, apart from having the exact quotations which I had left at home last week and was repeating depending on my memory.